My name's Jeremiah Atwood. I'm the head of engineering at Cofertility, and I head up our engineering efforts. We're a startup, so I wear a lot of hats, but primarily I focus on continuing to build out our platform to better meet the needs of donors and intended parents. But as a small company, I also handle DevOps, IT, security, compliance. Cofertility is a fertility platform that helps women freeze their eggs for free when they donate half of the eggs retrieved to intended parents that couldn't otherwise conceive. So our core focus is making egg freezing more accessible and less financially burdensome, while also extending opportunities for intended parents who need donor eggs. We're B2C, so customer identity and access management is pretty critical to us. On the egg donor side, women start by taking a quiz on the Cofertility website that lets them know which of our programs they qualify for, which is followed by account creation and an application process. And on the intended parent side, we do the account creation up front and continue from that point to our intake process. So in both cases, we use Ori to support email password and Google social sign-in. Before we migrated to Ori, we were on Auth0, and there were a number of challenges we were facing there. One was custom UI. So we really wanted to build a more seamless sign-up experience where account creation would effortlessly follow from qualification in our quiz with sort of a slick user experience. We really struggled figuring out how to do this in Auth0. Their lock widget was deprecated, their universal login required redirects, and we wanted an experience that was sort of much more seamless in our single page app end to end. So that was one challenge that we had. Another one was account linking. So when we initially implemented our platform, we implemented without thinking about this on Auth0, and it ended up being really a painful problem. Users would sign up with a Gmail address using email and password, but later sign in with Google social sign-in, resulting in multiple user records. And when we looked into fixing this, we were pointed to their account linking extension, which was deprecated. And getting this to work looked like it was going to take a non-trivial amount of engineering effort. And we were looking for something easier to handle this use case, which was really common. And probably the third would be cost. Our usage is very spiky, which doesn't really lend itself well to monthly active user based pricing models. And so there was a lot of, particularly as we continue to grow, we were having to sort of scale up our pricing based on monthly active users when our usage was really spiky. As we sort of expand or spend on social channels, we'd have a lot of spiky traffic and signups that they're not necessarily using us for a month. We obviously want them to. We want as best conversion as we can get, but that was sort of the challenge with that pricing model. We've had a number of high profile blog posts that would drive a lot of traffic to the site that would cause a big spike. And as we've experimented with different paid advertising channels, changing how those ads are targeted, that will often lead to sort of larger spikes as well. And we've had really no issue with Ori being able to handle the spikes and traffic that come. But having it, again, having the pricing be average daily user is awesome in those situations. We looked at a few other providers as well. In my past life, I've had some experience with AWS Cognito, which had great pricing, but really pretty rough ergonomics for the engineering team that has to implement and users as well. And we're actually on Google Cloud Compute, so I wasn't really looking to start up with another cloud provider. So that was sort of the reason we didn't move forward with them. We looked a little bit at Keycloak. We really like open source software, but we're we're a small team and we have no dedicated DevOps. DevOps is typically me. So I was hesitant to do anything that wasn't, a managed service at this stage of our company growth. And in terms of why Ori, we really like the open source ethos of Ori. And additionally, Ori had a pretty robust feature set, and it was really clear that they were continuing to invest in and involve their products, which is something we didn't really see as much where we were at before. And most importantly, they had a lot of good documentation on how to migrate users without requiring password resets, which was very important to us as well. Qualitatively, we have a much more seamless sign-up experience than we had before, which I think counts for a lot. We used to have people bouncing around to hosted login pages. Now it's integrated right into the sort of the end of the quiz that we have people take on the egg donor side. So it's just a much smoother UX and experience for end users. And we sort of coupled the decision to move to Ori with sort of a wide, a larger redesign of the sign-up experience, because we were able to using Ori. And that produced a statistically significant, about a 15% lift in account creation conversion for us. So it was definitely the right thing to do, and we would not have been able to do it, without having a vendor where we could have a much more custom UI for the sign-up process. We drastically reduced support tickets on account linking issues, and the average daily users was sort of a much better fit for our usage. On Auth0, we were going to need to continue scaling up monthly active users as we scaled spend on social channels and got more traffic to our site. We found the Ori documentation and the Ask AI feature to be really helpful. We actually onboarded pretty much on our own. We started on the Ori network production tier, and found the Slack community and the Ori team members who were on Slack to be very helpful, especially when we had questions about things that were not documented as in depth, like setting up a password migration webhook. So that was great. The documentation, Ask AI, the Slack community, and more recently we've transitioned over to having sort of the full support, but we have not really leveraged it yet. In the near term, it's probably things like possibly adding other social connections. We're interested in sort of doing whatever we can to reduce friction from sign up and sign in. So looking at things like magic links or passkeys, those are items that are sort of on our roadmap at some point. And yeah, I mean, we like that it's open source software. If we did want to sort of extend it or change things, we could look into hosting it ourselves as we grow. But that's probably not something we're going to do in the near term, just because we really value having sort of a managed solution sort of at this phase of development. We would definitely recommend Ori. Our experience has been really positive. We love the open source ethos, and it's great to see Ori continuing to invest and involve their products. We love there's a change log on the website, and it's great to sort of see the new things that come out all the time, every couple of weeks or even more frequent, and think about how we can take advantage of them. And it's sort of a very fresh breath of air to see that sort of pace of development and done out in the open.